Hello, this is Ram, and this is the first time I'm doing something on video, so if it looks or feels weird, please do excuse it. I'm an absolute amateur, okay? My comfort zone is writing, and I do blog posts. Then why am I here doing a video? Turns out people don't like to read, so I thought I'd try a video for once, right? So 4 days ago, I wrote a blog post about the Citizenship Amendment Act of 2019, and one of my friends was nice enough to share it on Facebook. He tagged me, and one of his friends, they picked it up, they started a comment chain on it, and slowly it kind of became an argument. Now this is not about whether the act is good or bad or whatever it is. I've discussed the different aspects of it on my blog post. If you go to blog.ramiyer.me, that's blog.ramiyer.me, you'll be able to read it. There are quite a few nuances, and it's very interesting. So it's an interesting subject is what I mean. I didn't mean that my blog post was very interesting. Okay. Anyway, so they kept insisting that Muslims are being excluded, and then they shared the sixth section of the Citizenship Amendment Act and said, "Do you see Muslims here?" I said no. So there you go. I said yes, okay. So did you read it along with the act? And they somehow found it funny. I found it funny that they found it funny. I asked, what's funny? And they said, well, this is supposed to replace that act. I said, no, it's not. Okay. After a couple of backs and forths, I kind of understood that they did not understand how the act or the amendment worked, right? Probably there are many people out there who do not understand this, and most of us probably have forgotten our civics classes, right? So I thought I'll share this with you. I'm not saying that everybody out there is like this. I'm just saying that we tend to not think about what does not directly impact us. Okay? So in school we do not bother much. Now we have to. Okay. So if you go to my blog post, I've mentioned both the things. Okay. So let me start with how this whole thing works. Now when the Constitution was introduced, when it came to power in 1950 on the 26th of January on the first Republic Day, it had, if I'm not wrong, I could be wrong with the numbers, so go ahead and verify yourself. I think we started with 395 articles split across 22 parts, and I think we had 8 schedules added to it. Today we are at a much bigger number, somewhere in the 440s. I think it's 445, 448. We have 25 parts, and we have, I think, 12 schedules. Again, I could be wrong with the numbers, and that's not the point here. Okay, so if you look at Article 5 of the Constitution, it actually talks about who the citizens of India are, and it defines how you become a citizen of India. Now, what happens is, a constitution is called a live document, which means, as and when the legislature, which is the parliament, in layman terms, the parliament feels that there have to be some changes made to it, because the way the country is run, the way the citizens work, the way the country works has to change, and it has to change along with time. So, these changes are made to the constitution, and how that happens is, one of the ways that happens is introduction of acts. Okay, so in 1955 the government felt that, or the parliament felt that there has to be change in how one becomes a citizen of India. So they introduced what is known as the Citizenship Act 1955. Now this act lays down quite a few things about who's a citizen of India, how one becomes a citizen of India, and so on. That's, at this size, it's a 13-page document. Then there were 3 more changes made to it. One was in 1987, when it was amended for the first time. Then it was amended in 2003, and for the third time it was amended in 2019, a few days ago. If you go to my blog post, you have the link to both of these documents, and the document I have on my left is the Citizenship Act 1955, This has the amendments until 2003. The document that I have on my right is the Citizenship Amendment Act of 2019. Okay, so now how this happens is, when I want a change in an act, or when I want an amendment made to an act, let us imagine that I am a member of parliament, I'm an MP, I'm a Lok Sabha MP, right? I introduce a bill, and this bill mentions what changes I need in that particular act. The act that I wish to change is called the Principal Act. Okay, so I introduce this bill, it goes through a process of voting. First, a debate happens, I introduce, we all debate on it, and then we vote for the bill. When the bill gets cleared in the lower house, which is Lok Sabha, it goes to the Rajya Sabha, where another set of MPs debate on it, and then they vote. Once it clears the Rajya Sabha, it goes to the President. President's assent, it's called. When the President signs it, it becomes an amendment. Okay, so far what is a bill becomes an amendment or an act, depending on the situation. Okay, so in 2019, since we already had the Citizenship Act, we just had to amend it. And when you're amending a law, when any of the members of parliament amends a law, they do not copy the entire text of the principal law into the bill. Okay, they just mention the changes. So if an act is of 15 pages, my bill could be just one single line. Okay, it just has to be enough to be specific, and it just has to be that change alone, not the entire document. Okay, so what we have right now to my right is the Gazette of India, which carries the Citizenship Amendment Act of 2019. Now, the very first page is what I call the face of it. Okay, the content actually starts from the second page in this case. Okay, so you have section 2 here, and it says the Citizenship Act 1955, hereinafter referred to as the Principal Act, which I just told you. In section 2, in subsection 1, in clause B, the following proviso shall be inserted, namely, and then it has a short paragraph. Okay, so what it wishes to do is, in the clause B of subsection 1 of section 2 of the Principal Act, which is the Citizenship Act, this amendment or this paragraph would be added, right? So we come to the second section. It's on the very first page of the Principal Act. It's called Interpretation, and subsection 1 kind of gives you the definitions. Okay, so it says after clause B, in clause B, the following would be added. So you go to clause B, there are 2 points, 1 and 2. This additional paragraph is supposed to be added right under clause B. Okay, so this would be added to the existing act. So the existing act stays as it is, the text stays as it is, and this particular proviso, this particular paragraph is added over there. Alright, and then section 3 says after section 6A of the Principal Act. So we leave out sections 3, 4 and 5, we go to 6, and it says after 6A. Now if you see in the Principal Act, you have section 6, which is citizenship by naturalization. You have 6A, and then it goes right to 7. So what this amendment wants to do is make a 6B, okay, and add that particular text, whatever it is over here. This will be added to as 6B in the Principal Act. Then it says, section 4 says, goes straight to 7D. So you skip 7A, B and C, you go to 7D. And in that, after clause D, this is what will be added. There is another paragraph, DA, which will be added to it. And after clause F, there's another small addition there. Then you have section 5 of the amendment, which says in section 18 of the Principal Act. So you're going to change 18 and it's going to insert an EEI. And finally, section 6 of the amendment, which is what this person pointed out. This goes into the third schedule of the Principal Act in clause D. So there is a clause D in third schedule. So, okay, second schedule, third schedule, we have 6A, B, C, D. And D says during the 14 years immediately preceding the said period of 12 months, he has either resided in India or been in the service of the government of India, or partly the one and partly the other, for periods amounting in the aggregate of not less than 11 years. So an amendment does not entirely replace an act. It just makes changes to it. Okay? So I hope I have cleared some air around. Don't mind the noise. Too many dogs. Okay? So I hope I've made it a little clearer than it was for you, and if you'd like to start a discussion, you're free to. If you find my profile and you troll me, I'll ignore you. Okay? So thank you for giving me your time and thank you for watching this. I hope this video has been informative, and I hope you have a fantastic week ahead. Thank you.